Okay, so I'm back from a week's leave, and my son has been looking after my fish. Um, so yeah, so now I'm checking out my fish on the first day. First day back, uh, they look really hungry. The water's still quite cold here. Uh, we're going into spring tomorrow, so it's going to start warming up. But the fish are really looking in uh, good condition. I'm going to throw in some pellets now. I've actually got um, a really high quality tilapia pellet that I've tried out for some of the smaller fish, and I mixed this with Shogun. But it seems like the fish really like it. I'm quite surprised. Also, the size of the pellet is much smaller than you'll get from conventional koi food, so the fish actually take the pellet in a lot easier. Um, I'm not too keen on feeding tilapia pellets to koi, but for smaller fish, I don't think it's a problem. I'm going to feed this to the tossai now just because they like it. But most of the time, they get Shogun, and there you can see the pellet. It is so cheap in terms of cost versus actual koi food. And I'm not advocating you feed other foods, but this is what I'm actually going to use as crumble for my smaller koi when I breed this season. So we'll just throw some food in and see how hungry these guys are after the week of holiday. You can see there's a complete mix of fish, and all of these fish are for sale. These are all my sales fish. These aren't my kind of main fish. These are all fish I'm selling. And more in here. I think it's always hard for the fish to swallow a pellet that's the size of their mouth. That's completely dry, because it obviously takes a bit of time to get softer and get easier to eat. Whereas these small ones, they literally just swallow them down. And here's some of the bigger fish. There's some karashis in here. A Renji Ogon. This has come out of my big pond that I'm selling, and there's a very big chugoi, that dark one there. Absolute submarine. That also is going to be sold. They love the small pellets. It's quite weird. Some koi foods are quite palatable. Others, the fish just really don't seem to like eating. This they don't seem to have a problem with. So potentially we're going to go get some more of this stuff today. As you can see, they're looking really healthy and very good nick. Yeah, we have a look at some of the other sales fish. This pond is the crazy ones, and these guys always just get so hungry when I get to the pond. They want to seriously eat. And obviously there's a lot of fish in here, but I mean not so much more fish than what I've got in the two square ponds that you just looked at. So they just seem to be a lot happier and a lot hungrier in this long thin pond. And they also grow a lot faster in here as well. You can see the size difference. Most of the fish are bigger. For some reason this pond really works for growth. Oops, and there I see a little dead one. I'm not sure what happened to him. That's not very good. Yeah, I don't normally have dead fish. I mean, in this pond system, gosh, I've got about 300 tossai in here between the four ponds, and then in the Israeli koi I've got another 570. So that's about almost 900 fish. But I hardly have fatalities. I mean, if I have a fatality once a month, it's a lot. I mean, across that kind of volume, it's crazy. And obviously you're dealing with smaller fish. I mean, the normal problem comes in is you might get a fatality in the box when you get fish in from Japan or from Israel, but I don't generally have fatalities in these ponds. So shame. So that's a small one that seems to have had a bit of a problem. So I need to take him out. But for the rest of them, they're looking really, really good. They're quite active considering the water's so cold. Some kajaku in here. Some really nice Shiro Utsuris. These things have been developing as time has gone on. They've been looking better and better and better. There's some of them in here as well. There you can see some of the Shiros. That's a really nice Shiro. Look at that one there. Nice white skin. And then we'll go and look at the Israeli koi. So I've got the Israeli koi in a porta pool. I keep them separate to make sure they're fine. They've been medicated. They've been here for a couple of weeks now, and I really just check on them to make sure that they're up to scratch and that I can sell them. And I'm actually going to sell them today. I've decided I'm going to haul a couple of them out, have a really decent look at them, and then start selling them from today, because I don't want to keep them too long, but I also don't want to have them carry risk. I mean, look at that. Some really, really beautiful little fish in there. Healthy, healthy, healthy. The interesting thing is, when I've got koi from Israel before, I mean, they're obviously not exactly where the Japanese are in terms of fish breeding, but the health of the fish is always absolutely spectacular. I've had very little problems with Israeli fish as I've brought in, and I don't bring in Israeli fish as a matter of course. This is just a batch I decided to bring in to get a whole lot of small fish in, because obviously it's not a good time for small fish in Japan at the moment. But I'm so impressed. They just never have problems. I mean, I got this batch, and I think there was one fish out of 570 that had died in the transport, which is crazy on a batch that's so big, and the fish that are so small. And since I've had them here, I haven't lost a single fish. I've medicated twice. I've put salt in. I've had a look under a microscope. I can't see anything. They're just in really good nick. But that's not me. That's actually because the breeders and the farmers on that side are so good in terms of keeping their fish happy. It's quite funny. As soon as they've all had a quick chow, they completely disappear under the water, and then they hang out about 20 centimeters down. So they think I can't see them. But yeah, let's go and look at the big pond and see what's happening with my main pond. Okay, it's a lot quieter when the pumps are off. The fish always assume there's like some kind of action going on. So whenever the pumps are off, they get excited because they think they're getting fed something special, or they just get interested because I'm doing something special. But they're looking really, really good. I mean, I haven't seen them in a week, so I'm pretty chuffed. I've thrown a couple of pellets in, so there's pellets on the surface, so they might be doing a little bit of chowing, but yeah, looking really, really good. And just looking so nice and bulky and such good condition. I'm really, really happy with them. Sorry, my dog is barking in the background. You can hear her. It always happens when I start doing a video. She starts barking. It's like I press the record button and she immediately starts her nonsense. Look at the kohaku looking amazing. I mean, absolutely, absolutely amazing. Very, very good condition. Some of the young tosai I chucked in here are really coming along as well. And there's my cat who's always with me when I'm filming or doing anything with a fish. He gets paid in koi pellets, so he just hangs around. But sure, some of the babies looking really, Really good. There's the Mariten Kohaku, little Sankey. Another Kohaku. These little Shiro Utsuri are coming on very nicely. You can see one in the middle of the pic. The skin quality is just excellent. I'm very keen to see what happens with them. There's my homebred Shawa. That fish I'm going to breed this season. Wow, just looking amazing. Some more Shiro Utsuri. Here's the Shawa male that I'm going to spawn with this season. Sankey male. I'm also thinking of doing Sankey this season, something I haven't done in a very, very long time. There's a Sankey female. It hasn't got the cleanest cut pattern. You can see on the back there's a bit of messiness in the pattern. I love her body shape. She's just an absolute monster. Must be sitting at about 70 odd centimeters now, 75. But I mean, huge bulk, just growing all the time. Very young fish. I'm going to use her for breeding with my Sankey males. I've got an enormous Sankey male. This is the Sankey male that I'll use with her. I mean, he's beautiful. It's not a show fish. I mean, his pattern isn't that great. He's got great sumi on him, which I really, really like. And I'm hoping those two in combination will produce some interesting babies. But a lot of the Sankey I've got are male, so I can use a couple of them. I mean, this is a Sankey male there with a really nice pattern. He just got a lot of work to do, but he's pretty cool. But the female is a beast. I mean, she's going to produce really good babies. But yeah, looking really, really good considering I've been away so long. It's a nice female Sankey at the bottom there. She's got a lot of work to do in terms of growth and bulk, but I've got a huge hope for her in the future. When I can get her over 70 odd centimeters, I think she's going to be a stunning fish, and I think she's going to develop late, but she's really good. There's a close-up of her. Wow. You can see why I don't take her to shows. Look at the scales. And I'm not into changing patterns and kind of pulling out scales and trying to shape the pattern. You know, some people do that. I don't think that's necessary. I'll just leave the fish as it is. And if it's in good nick and it's good enough to go to the show, like that Kohaku there, then I'll take it. You know, if it's not and I like it, I keep it in the pond. Or I kind of swap it out as I go. But yeah, I'm happy with the condition these guys are in after their week without me, so they don't need me to survive. You know, anyone can feed them and they'll be okay. And this is normally the time of the year when you actually start having problems in your pond. So this is the time of the year that I'll normally get calls from people that are having issues, because as we go into spring and the water starts warming up, all kinds of craziness normally starts to happen in koi ponds. So you'll see that the life and the kind of basically anything that's living in the pond will start getting more active as the water warms up. So the metabolism gets higher, everything starts breeding, including parasites, including anything else that might be in your pond, and then you start having to deal with other issues, and that normally happens, I've found, at around the change of the season. And also your bio load increases. So as your fish are eating more, you're feeding more, there's more load on the pond. The filter systems might not be used to that because you come out of winter, and then things start happening. So I would say just check out your pond at this time of year and make sure that everything's fine. I actually said to another koi keeper this week, I mean, there's two things that I really look out for in terms of fish not being happy. The one is, incessantly scraping on the floor, and once or twice scraping is not a problem. I mean, fish tend to scrape when you feed them. So as they eat and fish gets stuck in the food gets stuck in the gills, they might scrape once or twice. But if they're scraping all the time, you quickly do a microscope little test and check and see what's on the fish. So the one thing I look for is scraping. The other thing I look for is fish that are really battling to breathe, so hanging out at the waterfalls or hanging out where there's oxygen in the pond, so something affecting the gills. And then there's potentially a third thing, which is just the production of mucus on the fish. But normally when they're getting lots of mucus, they either they've got something already. They're either going to be kind of hanging out trying to get oxygen. The other thing that they do when they've got parasites is lie on the floor almost like loaves of bread. So they'd kind of lie next to each other and just be absolutely still, even though the water quality and the water temperature might be quite good. I mean, that's also a sign of parasites. But generally when they're swimming around like this, kind of doing their thing, they're okay. I don't do water tests. I don't test the water every week. I mean, I'm replacing a lot of water with borehole water that I've had tested that I know is really good. But I rely on the fish as my kind of indicator in terms of what's happening and what's not happening. And if the fish are healthy and the fish are doing well, then I trust that they're fine. Otherwise, I'm just going to absolutely get worked up about testing the fish every week and testing the pond to see if it's all right and getting paranoid about what might or might not be there. I just look at the fish, and if the fish are cool and if things are happy with the fish, then I'm happy. As soon as I see any issues, I get onto it pretty quickly. But also, the fact that I'm selling fish here as well, and I've got so many sales fish within close proximity to this pond, I need to make sure the entire setup is fine. And that's why very often I move fish between the sales ponds into here to grow up. I mean, the only thing I need is to potassium dip them before they come in here. That's the routine. But then, they'll be in here for a while, they'll grow up, and then I'll take them back to the other system. Again, when they move between the two pond systems, they get a potassium dip. But it's just important to check your fish out and to make sure that they're happy and healthy, and there's no real issues there. You can see that the Ogon just scraped. I just need to have a look at her and see what's going on. But I don't stress about that. I mean, I stress when there's a number of fish scraping and they're doing it absolutely all the time. Then I'll do a little microscope scrape and check what's happening. There's the two shower that I'm going to breed this season. It's going to be very interesting. Really, really strong pair. Okay guys, I think that's it for today. I'm sorry that I haven't made videos in quite a while. But yeah, please like, please share, please comment. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers. Okay, and here we've got my my big pond. A little bit of foam on the water, not a lot. I mean, considering how immense these Bucky towers are and how much foam they actually produce, there's not a lot on the water. Most of it gets sucked up in the weir at the back there. But yeah, looking good. I'm actually going to turn the pumps off now to have a decent look at the fish. So we can really see what's going on. There in the back you can see I've got a second Bucky tower and a feed from a protein skimmer. So those are going really, really nicely. I've actually on this system got 3 really big pumps, which costs me a fortune in electricity. I should actually scale down and get energy saving pumps. But the water clarity looks really good. Even though I'm filling up from borehole, so my borehole it literally comes out like a chocolate milkshake for the first 15 minutes. Lots of clay in the water, and then clears through the pond system over the next couple of days. So yeah, looking really clear considering that this pond would have been flushed and drained and filled up on Friday. So let's see what the pond looks like with the pumps off.